But I love the concept of it. Oh, we've got
Yeah.
I did not realize. Okay, so I see Matt and John. I'm assuming John. Oh, hey John, how are you? I
Hey,
remember. How you
not
been?
bad. How are you?
Good, thank you. Hey Matt, I can't hear you if you're talking. Maybe we'll chat.
He's just shy.
He wasn't the last time I came. I think he was on vacation or something, so I didn't really get to talk with Matt too much. Is Jordan
Here,
join?
here we are.
There you are. Hey Matt.
Hey, how are you, Stormy?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for taking this meeting on relatively short notice. Let's see if I can get my camera
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. I've been trying to get with you guys for some time now. I know that we came out there a while ago when Lydia was still around. I've been kind of talking, touching base with Jordan every here and there, just to kind of do a pulse check and see how things are going. I know you guys have gone through the Ignite and the Ember sessions, and I'm told that they were going pretty well and that you guys were feeling pretty good having gone through those courses. And I also understand that you guys have a new service manager. Is that correct?
Operations manager replaced Lydia.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And is he going to be joining us today?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so I will leave the floor to you guys. As I said, I know it's been a while since we talked. So how are things going?
So I guess I'm assuming that the positive feedback was coming from Jordan. Is that's who your point of contact is there? Getting telling you things are going well.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So okay, I don't want to say not well, but we still have a lot to work out. So,
Mhm.
um, we went through, did the Ignite sessions. They were helpful, again, kind of high level stuff. Then the Ember sessions, we're actually in the middle of them right now. So we're working through getting towards the end of the Ember session, I think here. And John was not in the Ignite sessions initially, right, John? Did you join towards the end of those or not at all?
Um, the ones that were prior to the embers that we're in now, I was in the last 1 to 3, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So John was in most of those, or a few of those, and then we're working through it. And Jordan has been supposed to be scheduling and setting up this meeting for quite some time. So we were in an Ember session yesterday, and we pulled up um, our
Titan.
divisions, trades slash business unit filter page where we could pull it up right from the dashboard. It was sort of the easiest way we found to pull it up.
Mhm.
And the trainer, Erica, was like, yikes. She's like, you guys need to get a call with your CSM. So I booked it while I was in the Ember session because I'm kind of tired of being patient. I've felt pretty certain all along that we never had this set up properly.
Okay.
But the concern that other members in the group had expressed was you need to start this from accounting back or you'll mess up things you can risk messing up. So you need to know what, and that's why I looped Marissa into this. I wanted to make sure that we didn't make any changes that were going to impact how we're linked to QuickBooks or anything like that. But ultimately, a lot of the things that we have learned and are trying to do from these sessions, they come down to well, you need to have your business unit set up properly, and that's going to enable you to be able to market to them in certain ways, and it's going to help you with your job costing and all the things. And right now we have 30 some business units and we use one.
Mhm.
So I wanted to figure out what do we need to do to start getting that right. Like I'm quite frankly, I'm embarrassed by our Titan advisor score when we go into these meetings. We have way more resources than most of these other companies are thrown at this, and we're pretty far behind, I feel like. So I'm hoping that we can get a path today forward, and you can start pointing me in the right direction of what is it going to take to get this cleaned up and get our score moving in the right direction.
Sure. So I do, and I think I sent you an email sometime ago, offering to set up the call, but I do, just want to make it transparent that I am available. I have been trying to reach out here and there. I've been speaking with Jordan, and maybe that wasn't my best point of contact. I think that was
No,
um,
I saw the one for Jordan, and quite honestly, I was putting the onus on him to make the effort to do this because this is not my responsibility in the marketing seat. This was supposed to be part of what Jordan is working on regularly, so that's why I was hoping that would be, it would be his initiative to say, hey, let's make this happen. That's when yesterday was when I finally lost my patience.
Understood. But moving forward, we can definitely set up some recurring calls just to make sure we're on the same path. I know that I've offered quite a few times for us to come back out there. I would bring Ashley. So if we wanted to at any point schedule a day to do, I know last time we kind of went over a plethora of issues and we kind of made some progress, but I do think that there were like just kind of some misalignments in certain areas. So I think that at this point, it seems like we're in a better place to really make actual progress, especially with knowing that you guys have gone through the Ignite sessions and kind of know the capabilities of the system. So I do think that we're, in a better place. I'm looking at your Titan Advisor score. If I'm being completely honest, I realistically, it's not that bad. Like it's not anything to be embarrassed of. So I just want to give you some reassurance there. It also looks like you're making a steady climb. So that's probably due to you being in those Ignite sessions and the Ember sessions. But I do see some improvement there. So kudos to
John is doing most of that heavy lifting, getting our scores up there. So I'll give him credit for that. There have been things that we have been able to clean up. There are some things that we were supposed to clean up that we did not, but we've gotten some of it there. Some of it we I realize that in this that some of this the scorekeeping part of it again is less significant. I know for some of the people there, it's very, very important. I know there's certain things we're never going to use in a certain
you.
way, and I'm willing to say, all right, those are points we're not going after. I'm not concerned with
Right.
the bigger picture stuff. Being able to have our zones set up properly, our business units set up properly, being able to utilize Dispatch Pro. I have a lot of questions or dispatch features. I have a lot of questions about Phones Pro. Should we be using it? Is it still what's causing our call quality issues? There was a lot of people in the Ember sessions that weighed in and said, as soon as we got all Phones Pros, all of our call quality cleared up and everything got way better. Get all Phones Pro. So I brought that up to Zach, he's on vacation this week, but he was sort of like, I don't know, Phones Pro has a lot of good features. So I our call quality still, quite frankly, it's still pretty crappy. And we're still having the issues of crackling. We have a fiber line run directly into the building now. We've done everything on our end to create as much support as we can around this. And I don't know where the issue is, and I'm a little tempted to say let's maybe just get away from Phones Pro. But it's a lot all at once. I'm kind of venting to you
No,
here,
no,
but
please throw it all at me. I would rather you give me this feedback than not give me this feedback. Okay, so as far as pro products, you do have the phones pro. I know that we set up Lydia at some point with a demo of some sort with Contact Center Pro, which is the phone system that ServiceTitan is moving forward with. Now there are a lot of, I know Zach was very much a fan of like the AI capabilities and some of the scheduling features. So I do believe that that is something that he would be interested in. And from my understanding, it is a better version of Phones Pro, but with the amount of phone, and I think when Lydia had went through this demo at the time, it was like you guys were kind of dealing with a lot, and it was like let's not make a heavy change right now. So that might be a conversation that we want to revisit. But before we do that, I do have a colleague that came from the pro product side that I could, have a internal conversation with. So I would, want to maybe reach out to him and say, explain the situation, explain the issues that you guys were dealing with, and ask him what his thoughts are on the Phones Pro to. So let me just take some notes really quickly. Would this be a good move? So proper business units. As far as best advice to restructure these Currently has 30 business units, only utilizing. And do you guys have two locations?
No.
Do you ever have two locations?
So no,
Yes.
but yes. We still do technically, yes, we have two locations. We have two address business locations that have independent phone numbers, independent marketing. So from that standpoint, yes, we just only operate out of one of them.
Um, okay. I guess I'm just asking because I don't know if we need a separate business units. Is any like,
Nope, not for accounting purposes. No reason to have a separate.
It
That
really
And
that
is
isn't
would not
that
for
say that again,
Google
John.
purposes. We have a second location.
for Google services? Is that what you said?
Oh,
For
Google
Google's
purposes.
purposes,
It's
Okay.
just for
it's
marketing
essentially
purposes.
an office, but we don't run any independent P&L through it or anything like that.
Okay.
that's like when we set this up, we were told business unit equals location, which is why we never use the 40 some business units we started creating and we only use one.
So business units, from my understanding, are like different segments of the business. So, and I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, and I would want to make sure I'm giving you the most proper advice. But like, you think of a business unit as like, say we were an HVAC company, you would have like a sales business unit, a maintenance business unit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like different segments, and that's how you're going to be, tracking sales, install, maintenance, service, like those kinds of things. So I guess when you're looking at accounting and wanting to see the different revenue during different parts of your business, that's kind of how the setup would be. Do you guys have something in mind for that kind of structure, or what are your thoughts on that? I know that there's a few different areas that you kind of work on right now.
So this seems to be our biggest hurdle is kind of nailing down the how to structure this and set this up. So one of the things we had seen recommended was sort of plumbing and water treatment is one. And one of the things that we had heard, I think in the night session, I don't think it was in the Ember session, but was that business units best practices is they should have an independent P&L. Each business unit should be able to be looked at from accounting from that standpoint and say, this has its own profit, its own expenses, and they're tracked that way. Now, the reason I brought Marissa in here is I know that would be a huge change for us and require better reporting from our guys in the field. We would need to figure out how are we splitting up inventory in certain situations. Right now, we're essentially, from a trade standpoint, we do some plumbing and mostly water treatment. So those would sort of be there too. And then the thought was within them, we would have sales, service, and installation for each of those. Then another division for us is testing and inspections, which is our water testing and well inspection division. We also have a DEP branch, so I would think that should probably be a standalone as well.
You said what?
Yeah, Department of Environmental Protection.
You said division. So you're calling DEP division.
Or a business unit, I think, who probably would fall. Like, again, I would like it to be in my dream world. Each of those items, testing and inspection, I would be able to look at as its own entity and say, what does testing and inspections do? How much does testing and inspections cost us? What items are used for that versus plumbing versus water treatment versus David. Again, anybody else here, feel free to speak up if you have other thoughts. These are I'm just kind of thinking out loud here based on the stuff that I had in my notes
What
from.
did you say about for water treatment? You said to break water treatment down into service and installs.
Service sales and installs. So typically
Okay.
that's how they recommended it. It's basically like they showed this like, hey, you have company that does HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, and then you'd have HVAC sales, HVAC service, HVAC installs, plumbing sales, plumbing service, plumbing installs.
No,
The
yeah, it makes sense because you want to be able to see your profit drivers and things like that. That makes sense. I'm trying to think through how that looks on my end in QuickBooks because that's where yeah, that gets so I don't want to say messy, but you like all the entire price book basically needs to be flipped upside down and redone. and everything needs to be accurate. There can be no piecing this together, but putting something else on an invoice. You can't do that. Everything needs to be accurate, complete accuracy if you want to get these accurate numbers. So I think it's possible. I don't think we're super far off, but I think it's going to be a complete, like the price book is going to have to totally change, and it's a mess.
And I think one of the things we learned, John, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, is though once you have that price book item, depending on the job type, um, that that's where that price book item will be allocated in terms of the accounting piece of it. So there's another layer again, some you'll have to help me out on that, but there's
There's
another
a
layer.
Yeah, you when you create the price book item, that's where the accounting aspect goes in. It shouldn't be according to job type. It's a general ledger, as Service Titan calls it,
But
which is something different in
this,
QuickBooks.
so the question was brought up for this reason. So say, for example, you have a plumbing technician out doing a job and he were to pull a whatever it is, electrical, hey, I need to add a breaker. I'm going to do that anyway. It's in our price book. That doesn't come out of electrical labor. That's part of that plumbing job, and that's a plumbing revenue piece, not a electrical revenue piece. It's part of a plumbing job. Yes, it's an electrical price book item, but it was sold as part of a plumbing job.
So if I am scheduled, so when you schedule a job, you have to select a business unit, and then within that business unit, there are certain job types. So if I am scheduling a job and it's a plumbing service business unit job, and we'll say that the job type is service. You're saying if the plumber or the tech goes out on this plumbing service job, and then while he's there, he notices that there is a water treatment service thing that needs to be done. You're asking what where that revenue would fall. I still believe that it would fall. I don't know that despite like there's no the material and the price book items don't, like to Marissa's point, they don't specify what business unit. So and again, I would have to confirm this, but from my understanding, the revenue would still fall under that plumbing service because the job was scheduled under plumbing service. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because there's no way for that price book item to know that it was unless you're running a report based on job type, maybe
But that's
that's
what I'm saying.
different, but at
It
least with
should count under the
QuickBooks,
job type, right? That's what we want it to count under. I would rather it count under the job type than default to the price book item.
if you're running, I would assume if you're running a report based on the job type. For my reports, then in QuickBooks, it will not know. Job types don't transfer into QuickBooks. So it is only what that price book item is linked to. And you can only link a price book item to one general ledger account. It can't be like, oh, it's plumbing if it's a plumbing job type or electric if it's an electrical job type. It's only one. So whatever is on that invoice, that's what's going into QuickBooks. Now, if I don't generally nobody cares about the QuickBooks end as long as we know it's cost of goods sold. I don't need those details for what I'm doing if we can pull them from like, Service Titan. So I just want to make sure that we don't get into this and then you're still not getting the report you want.
Yeah, well, Stormy, you can help me sort of understand it. And maybe if we take like a more common one, like in the HVAC industry, if an HVAC guy goes out there during the install and notices that the water heater is bad and puts a water heater in, does that get, who gets the revenue credit for that? The HVAC division or the plumbing division?
If it's under the HVAC, if the job's scheduled under the HVAC business unit, then again, my understanding is that the revenue on Service Titans then would reflect the HVAC division. Um,
Even if the general ledger in the price book was linked to plumbing.
well, the general ledger, I don't think that that's linked to. No, yes, that is correct. The it would fall under the HVAC business unit. Yes, I
Okay,
will.
because that makes more logical sense to me in terms of I said like otherwise like then everybody like there's the in a world our company doesn't really operate this way, but if I'm an HVAC guy and I'm out there trying to get my HVAC numbers and I sell a water heater, I'm like, wait, that's got to go towards. I sold that. That was the HVAC guy who did that. That took HVAC labor, HVAC resources.
Yeah.
Like I get maybe it comes from plumbing material, but even then, I'm like, I don't even know how that part would work. I'm not sure exactly how that part links, but And that's why I said I know we're far away from getting to the end here, so I kind of want to start by, hey, if we could set it up this way and start to look at what it would look like and how would we link it and run some tests to see what this would be.
Yeah, I
I'm
do think that. Go ahead,
I'm looking
John.
at an item in price book, in equipment, and there's nothing in there that talks about business unit or job type. So that I
Yeah,
think is all coming from the same bucket.
yeah. So what we should do, and I'll be blatantly honest about this, is that accounting can be, and Marissa probably knows this, accounting can be my downfall. So what I think I should do is schedule a call with somebody who is a little bit more familiar with how this works on the QuickBooks end, and just make sure that if we are looking at restructuring the business units, what could that potentially affect? What does that mean for you guys? What needs to be, looked at further than just restructuring the business units and making sure that that's all done correctly. I do think that that's probably. I mean, I remember coming to you guys and seeing the business units and thinking like, and I was brand new then, and thinking like that seems like a lot. And I think that that was a conversation then. I just don't know that we made any progress there. So I think that you'll see a lot of improvement once that change is implemented. So just kind of reiterating a potential business unit structure, we'll have plumbing sales, plumbing service, plumbing install, water treatment sales, water treatment service, water treatment install, testing and inspections, and then DEP. So that would be
John, John, where did you share? I saw a thing just pop up. Was that in Teams chat? John had some notes that we had from
I
a
think that was
previous
from
one.
the Ignite. I think I wrote this during the Ignite. But yeah, it was basically that. And then I had a whole bunch of, and this was my takeaway from it. So it wasn't explicitly said, but that was basically what it's my takeaway for how we would set up business units. And then for job types, we would have stuff like a estimate, no water, no hot water, sump pump. So that would actually be like what the why the
why they're
first reason why we're going out to do it.
going. Mhm.
So like sump pump, leaking pipe, uh, system maintenance, system installation, well test, water test, real estate testing.
Yeah. And you
That's a
can,
lot. Just so you know, like the more you do of that, like I love those details, but a lot of times it gets to be a lot. So just so you know, if that's what you guys want, you want all those little details. I feel like that could get confusing to a CSR too. I don't know how many job types there are now though. So if there's already a lot. And I just before we jump into that, I did want to mention Stormy. So with changing all of this in QuickBooks, I know what business units are in QuickBooks, they're classes. So I know I would need to add and edit classes in QuickBooks to make things link up. My concern is the price book items. How like if they would how that would transfer if we're changing price book items. But wait, John, you said there's no business units on
Not
price
that I
book
saw.
items. Okay. So then yeah, then I just need that meeting. That could probably even be like a phone call. Doesn't have to be. I don't want to stretch this out if we don't have to, because I know Matt is like rearing to go in this. So I can, if somebody reaches out to me about that, I can talk through them with the QuickBooks end. I'm pretty good with QuickBooks, so I don't have too many questions. I'm more concerned about the syncing. I don't want a ton of sync errors because then like that's a mess.
Okay, so
Sorry, John, I didn't mean to
no, this,
hijack that, but before we go on, I wanted to
No,
mention that.
no. And
uh,
it doesn't matter to me what we end up doing with business units and job types. I have a big tendency to overcomplicate things and then start going back. We're we're super crazy right now because when I look at all of them, it looks like we had a whole bunch, we deactivated them, and then we remade all those same ones that we just don't use them again.
Mm,
So we have basically twice the amount that, and half of them are deactivated.
I see.
But I also see in services there is a general ledger account attached to that, but nothing for business unit or um, job types.
So
Um,
look at, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, no, I was just taking it as far as I just wanted to make sure I had this. So concerns with how changing business units will affect price book items. Will there be sync errors? Um, sorry, I had like a fuzz. Um, but your GLs wouldn't change, right, with changing the business units?
Not unless we want to accurately track this in QuickBooks. So if you guys want to track this accurately in QuickBooks, like you're tracking it in Service Titan, which that was my original holdup with the whole Service Titan change. I thought we were going to try to mirror it in QuickBooks. We ended up not doing that. My QuickBooks is basically saying we got cost of goods sold, we got income. It's all messed up because the price book is a mess. So if the price book was correct, I would actually have correct reports. In between water treatment and testing and inspections and DEP, because that's how we have it set up now. But because the price book is incorrect, invoices are therefore incorrect, and therefore my reports are not accurate. So yeah, I mean, I am not as concerned with it mirroring in QuickBooks if we can get the details from Service Titan. What I need in QuickBooks is to make sure cost of goods sold and revenue is accurate, which it is.
Okay, so that was a lot, and I know that you know that I'm not good at
Sorry.
accounting. In English, you're not necessarily concerned with changing the GLs in QuickBooks at this time. It sounds like there was some confusion at some point, but for right now, the main focus is getting a business unit structure, and we don't really need to make many changes to the GL accounts, as long as the price book items, there's no issues with the price book items, correct?
Yeah, it's the price book items. I just want to make sure that with changing the business units, that's not going to mess with the price book items syncing to QuickBooks.
Got it.
There we go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got that. That I think again, we can. That's a big focus here. I think that that will help tremendously. So what else do you have for me? I'm going to take a bunch of notes here.
So the one thing that I think came up that sort of I don't know how I'm like, how did I not see this sooner when it came up yesterday when we looked at business unit mapping, was that you had business units and then division and trade. And I feel like those were new terms to me. Like I'm like, wait, not in general what they mean, but like in how they pertain to service type. We have been looking at this all along as business units and job types, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, trade and division? That feels like maybe that's the trade should be plumbing and water treatment. The division should be, and then I'm like, how does that all link to business units? And that's why I'm trying to get like, and I know one thing I've learned in these sessions is like part of Service Titan's nebulous nature is because everybody uses it differently. So it's like, well, why do you even have it where you can enter this in equipment? Because like right now we're just using equipment and including labor and we're selling it that way. And then we learned, well, actually what most people do is set the equipment up and then you have a service that includes that equipment and that service would include that equipment and that material and I'm like that makes much more logical sense to me. Why is there even an option for me to enter man hours in equipment? Like, and it's like, oh, because not everybody does it this way. And so it's kind of made. So when I look at this, I'm like, I always try to nail down and these like, what's the best practice? What's the best practice? So what I'm hoping is sort of be able to dump this all on you. And then when we meet, you're going to say, all right, I got an idea that I think will work for you. And in the meantime, we can continue to kind of internally talk through, okay, what is there anything we're missing from this? Is there, that sort of thing? It's all right here. If we were starting over day one and not importing from House Call Pro and you knew who we were as a company, what would be the suggested way to structure Service Titan so that we could move forward that direction?
Hmm. Yeah, and that'll be a lot of what these calls are. I mean, again, to your point, like everybody uses Service Titan different. I know how Service Titan works and, some of the workflows, but a lot of times there isn't necessarily a best workflow because of the way people use it differently, but I can help you figure out the best workflow for you. So there might be a lot of discovery questions and trying to understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and then, coming back and coming up with a plan at that point. But again, I'm just happy that we're meeting so that we can start moving forward on some of these things. Um, like after the so I've got business unit structure and then the phones issues. Are there any major, it sounds like you guys have a lot that you kind of want to work through. So is there anything major as
No, I feel like we have a lot of like we sort of had a glimpse into what this can do. We're on the marketing side, like we know that there will come a point where we will revisit Marketing Pro. We're not ready to get there yet, but it's like we got to get these baby step things figured out. Business units getting the mapping of that correct. Then to Marissa's point, having our price book revamped to be both linked to that for accounting purposes, but also to be included in a way that is tech friendly. So um, we when you go through those sessions, you see sort of where we're missing the real leverage that Service Titan is as a sales tool, and we want to get better to be able to present better, to be able to give our guys add-ons and options in a better, more fluid way, so that and I just think we're only scratching the surface there, but I think that all will something we can start to do internally once we know that, all right, we got the boat pointed in the right direction. Now we can kind of fine tune and figure out where we're going from there. So I think there's a ton more we want to get in here and do, but I feel like we have to take a couple steps back, get our bearings a little bit, and then we can go from there.
Perfect. Okay. Just a quick question in regards to the price book. Do you guys invoice time and material, or is it more of a flat rate pricing structure?
Flat rate pricing.
Okay, so when you so you've learned about the dynamic pricing rules, and that's when you would tie the materials and the equipment to the service, and then the dynamic pricing rules would calculate based on that. Okay.
And that's what we're hoping to get to, like, again, sort of be able to really use that tool, inventory tracking. We're not using it all. So any of that's like as we sort of start to get to that level.
Okay,
That's what I'd like to
cool.
start to move us.
So first order of business is straightening out your business unit structure and understanding if there are any effects to the accounting side, how that could, what that would look like, and then making sure that, the price book is good to go in that, on that front. I'm going to have a conversation internally about your Phones Pro issues that will never go away, it seems. I know that that's been like a recurring conversation, but I do think, again, that maybe revisiting the Contact Center Pro, I think it has some of the benefits or the features that Zach was initially interested in. So if, from my understanding, again, it's just a better platform. But I will not steer you guys in a direction that's going to cause any more issues. But
What do I need to do to get that demo? I don't, or find out more. I know, John, you had mentioned this recently that you had seen when this came out in the most recent updates. So,
do you want
Yeah.
information? Do you want to meet with somebody now?
Not now. Um, I'd I'd like it would be awesome if we had a comparison thing for Phones Pro versus Contact Center Pro, as
Like a
well as the pricing for them. Because one fear that we've had with losing Phones Pro is what do we lose that we're not realizing that we're going to lose. And um, I've been excited about some of the things I've seen that are included in Contact Center Pro, or is that whatever it's called.
comment.
But I want to make sure that if we move to that we're not missing something else that we need to still rehook in somewhere else.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, your phone issues have been historically documented with some of like the top pro product people. So if this becomes a conversation and you want to speak with somebody that is trusted, like you guys are in a place where I know that if if I get you in touch with somebody, I'm not, I have like the pool to say you get them with a pro product specialist that knows what they're talking about and that is going to be able to steer them in the right direction. So I do think that maybe because I'm not going to be able to give you pricing, unfortunately. I wish I could. But you're probably in a better, you probably would be better speaking with somebody on that side. So I can try and arrange that conversation and then you can kind of talk through it. I was going to talk to somebody internally just to, again, make sure that I'm not pushing anything at you guys that's going to cause any more issues. But if you just want to go and speak with, again, a pro product specialist and kind of get that pricing and understand what features you'd be losing versus gaining, I can set up that conversation. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a worthwhile conversation. We can again have an exploratory conversation and see what's going on there. It will also, I've been feeding this stuff to Jordan as I come across it. I'm not, I'm not listening to calls as much as I was a few months ago, so I'd have to go back through and dig in. But when I do hear them, I'm often like aghast at the quality and that we're not catching it sooner. And it seems like there's a difference in the recording as you hear it in dial pad versus as the final version that you hear in what the customer hears and what is actually recorded in Service Titan. So there's some weirdness there as well. So I but it's gotten better. We've improved some things, but it's still from my point of view, like it's the lifeblood of our business, not just in that it functions, but the quality just says so much. And we're blessed that we've had a very patient group of customers that, in my opinion, have to, what, huh? I can't hear, like they're waiting, an inordinate number of abandoned calls. So there's some things in there that I'm concerned about, and I would be happy to talk to anybody that would listen.
Yeah, back when this conversation was being had with Lydia, that was like it was a strong, not, I don't want to say push, but it was a strong suggestion on our end for you guys to move to Contact Center Pro. It seemed to be like I think there was just a, you know, dial pad I don't think was like the best fit for you guys, and I remember it being strongly suggested for you guys to move to Contact Center Pro. So I do think it's worth having the conversation again, and just kind of finding, what again the features that you'd be losing versus gaining. So I'll have that conversation arranged, or I'll reach out to somebody. And then we'll make the price book once we get the business unit structure kind of nailed down. We'll start talking more about your price book and how we can begin to, streamline that and make changes there so that it's more, user friendly for your technicians. At this time, I do think that I would like to pull my lead in, which is a different lead. I'm with Francisco now. He is the guy I go to with all of my accounting questions. So, and he's good with like the business units and all of that sort of stuff. So let me pull up my calendar and his calendar. And even if, um, it's just confirming the business unit structure and how we can make those changes. Let me pull up his calendar. And I know that you want to get started on this. Okay. Could you do Monday morning, a half an hour, 11 to 11:30?
Okay, now, 1 second.
I can't do Mondays.
Okay.
Sorry, especially that day.
Um, I could do Tuesday. I could do a 2 p.m.
Okay, Matt, you have something, it looks like at that time.
That's a spotlight at the Quakertown store. Deanna and the sales team can handle that. Good.
Okay. Tuesday at 2 p.m. You have nothing this week?
Um, sorry, I'm just looking through.
No, it's okay. Take your time. I know how scheduling and stuff is.
What's this? Um, I'll put a block on for tomorrow at 3:30, but I don't know that it's a definite. I'd have to confirm if that time could work for you guys. I
Yeah.
can ask him, and then I can send you guys a follow-up email just confirming. So block 4 euro. So
I'm just gonna block out both times, just in case.
what was the other time I had offered?
Tuesday at 3:30. No, Tuesday at 2.
Event. Let me get back to his schedule. Francisco. create events, Francisco, block for tomorrow. And this was
Can
to,
you send me that invite because the email that Matt gave you for me is not my email.
I don't even know. I thought it was
I'll
just
send it in the chat.
I saw you pop up and I was like, wait a second. And I looked at the invite. I'm like, oh, we got the whole gang joining today.
Yeah,
Funny.
he
Uh,
brought back up.
all right, so Francisco Stormy blog, let me put that in. I am gonna hold off on sending an official invite. Let me send an email to you though. So I have your email though. It's
Yeah, I just sent it in the chat too.
all right, let me get back to that.
I have two. It just depends which one, what I'm talking to you about.
I'll just send this invite now. It's fine. And I'll just add, well, I'll confirm with you guys. Um, Thursday, where did I put this? Okay. I
So
sent it,
tomorrow at 3:30, you're gonna shoot for.
yeah. And
Okay.
then, John, can you give me your email address?
J Murphy. There, I can put it in the chat.
Oh, I have it. dscwater.com.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then Matt is at mwaller@dscwater.com. Okay. There's not
Yeah. And we should keep Jordan in the invite too. I don't know if he's out sick, but if he's gonna be in the invite, we should keep him in that loop.
okay. I'm sending this for tomorrow. There's no Zoom link as of yet, just because I want to confirm with Francisco that we can do this time. And I will follow up with you guys in an email just confirming. And then we'll go from there. If we can't meet tomorrow, then we'll meet Tuesday. And we'll get started. But again, thank you guys for scheduling the meeting. I know that we've been kind of trying to get in touch for a while now. So hopefully, again, we can get started and get you guys using Service Titan at a larger capacity and getting the value from Service Titan. All right.
Perfect.
More
Thank
Thank you
questions?
so
you.
much. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you taking the time to be here. I know it's a busy day.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you again soon. Okay.